and they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the words of their testimony. I'm Elly Collins, and this is my story. So I grew up in Chelan, Washington. I wasn't raised in a Christian household. My grandma is very in her faith, and she has a great relationship with Jesus. So she kind of sprinkled a little bits here and there, but nothing really stuck through elementary school. I was a very anxious kid in growing up in grade school. I had this problem where I could not be alone. I probably couldn't stay home alone until I was in about 7th grade. And nobody ever knew why. I think my parents took me to therapy once or twice. And we just never really got to the bottom of it. But I was, never really at peace growing up, and I didn't grow out of that until I was in about probably middle school. I think 6th grade was when I started playing sports. So I started playing, I played a little bit of AAU growing up. But I think 6th grade was when I started putting most of my worth in my sport. I started playing volleyball, club volleyball, then, and pretty seriously up until college. But yeah, I think my high school years was very worldly. I went to rendezvous and stuff a little bit throughout middle school, but mostly for the social aspect. Once again, nothing really stuck with me until later on. But yeah, in high school, I definitely lived a very worldly life, going out, partying, hanging out with boys, just not following in any form. Didn't really know Jesus at all. And my junior year was when COVID hit, and that was when my life really took a dark turn. I played volleyball seriously, so I really wanted to go to college for that. And I was looking to commit anywhere. I really wanted to go to California and be a party girl because that's what I thought college was for, and that was what the world was telling me that I was supposed to do. So I was reaching out to schools with beach volleyball programs that were in California and Florida, big party schools, and I wasn't getting emails back from many of them, but the school that persisted the most was GCU. They reached out to me first when I was a freshman, and I went to a couple visits my freshman year, my sophomore year, and both times I went down there, I was like, this is the dumbest Christian school. I did not want to go there at all. I just thought no one parties at Christian schools, and they didn't even have a football team, so I appreciated the opportunity of going down there and checking it out, but I was never really serious about it until my junior year hit, which is when coaches can finally talk to you. And so I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to commit as early as possible. And at that point, we had one state my junior year, and then I was all right, I need to figure it out. I need to lock in, I need to go somewhere. And GCU was still the most persistent school. And at the time, I think they were 10th in the nation, and I was so confused because I was reaching out to so many other schools, and none of the other schools were really pursuing me, and schools that were way worse. And at the time, I was frustrated because I didn't understand. And so I went down there after we won state, and I got offered a spot on the team, and I was like, all right. At that point, I kind of had some peace with it, and I was more willing to give it a shot. Luckily, but yeah, I ended up committing to go there, and I think 5 weeks later, COVID hit. So as soon as I committed to go to this Christian school, my whole identity kind of fell apart. I didn't have sports anymore. Things were shut down. So I didn't really have an outlet to put my identity or my perspectives in. For me, a bad game was a bad life, and without that at all, I was really lost. So I lost my, I didn't lose. I had a falling out with one of my best friends of 5 years, and just went through COVID feeling really lonely. me and like my boyfriend of 8 months or whatever broke up, so there's another spot where I put my identity. And so I just felt really lonely. I looked toward college to get me through my junior and senior year, so like the second half of my junior year, mostly my senior year. I wasn't going to school anymore because things were locked down, and I knew going to school would make me more sad than if I were to just stay home and do stuff online. So it was really dark. I was super isolated, and I was partying all the time with my friends, and I was just constantly trying to be busy. That feeling of being anxious that I felt all throughout elementary school kind of came back, and I was honestly pretty scared. So I was just looking towards college and playing collegiate sports and going to Arizona, a school that was a little less locked down, to save me from the unease that I had felt throughout my entire year. So I was super excited to get out of Chelan, which is what every single Chelan kid says until they all want to come back. And so the end of August, me and my best friend from 5th grade drove to Arizona to move me in. And we did a road trip. It was super fun. And we finally get there, and she stays for like 2 or 3 days, and I was doing totally fine. And then the second I dropped her off at the airport, I felt like complete anxiety. And it was like a little different than it was before. Like instead of constant, it was like I'm gonna die anxiety. Like I had panic attacks every day, and it was horrible because I put so much pressure on myself, like going to college and thinking that was going to solve all my problems, and it just didn't. So I was on the volleyball team, which was after COVID. All the girls got an extra year of eligibility, so I was an 18-year-old baby, like a deer in headlights, playing beach volleyball, which was completely different than what I grew up with in indoor. And so I wasn't good at all, and so I couldn't put my worth there in my sport. I couldn't find my peace in college because it wasn't peaceful. And just when I thought my life was supposed to get better, it got significantly worse, which I didn't know was even possible. I had panic attacks every day. I cried in the shower. I couldn't eat, and I was just looking to grab on to quite literally anything. At the time, every freshman at GCU is required to take Christian worldview, which I thought was the dumbest class. I thought that Christians were just people that used their faith to grab onto something that gave them peace. What a crazy, horrible thing. And they were just people who needed that to think that they were going somewhere good when they died, and that it was just this big lie that people used to feel better about themselves. And I was also one of those people that was like, oh, Christians are so hypocritical, blah, 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 like what everyone says when they don't want to go to church. So I was one of those people. And so I walked into that class like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb. Like I sat next to the girl wearing the most crystals that I could find. And I was like, oh, me and this girl are going to be talking about how dumb this class is. And I didn't really pay attention at the beginning. Meanwhile, I'm grappling for things that give me peace. I'm trying to be distracted all the time. I'm calling my mom, I'm crying, I'm freaking out. I end up getting left at a party with like probably 15 of the girls on our team. It was a big team. And one of the girls on the team who was really good came back and told the whole team that I was gonna rat on them, that I was a horrible teammate, and yada yada yada. So then a lot of the girls on the team were believing this lie, which I was just trying to survive. I wasn't doing anything crazy. And so now, like, not only was everything else in my life turning, like, a lot of the girls on the team didn't like me. I didn't really click with my roommates. So one day I was at study hall, and one of the gals on the team who wasn't at the party was outside. And I was like, you know what? I have literally nothing to lose. I didn't know if I was going to make it through college. And I was calling my mom every day, asking her, like, should I come home? Should I come home? And she was like, no. So I went outside and I sat with her. And she asked me how I was doing. And I just lost it. I absolutely lost it. And I just told her pretty much everything. And I kind of trauma dumped on somebody that I had known for 5 minutes. And she was like, oh my goodness, girl, like, come to my house. That's horrible. Like, let me tell you about my year and yada yada. So after that, we spent like every second together. And I would go to practice, go to lift, class, and go straight to her house. I'd sleep there. I'd change the next morning. I'd do it every single day because that was the only place that I'd felt like welcome. And one Wednesday, she was like, oh, we're going, like, you should come over, but we're going to this church night for college kids. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I can do that. Anything's better than being alone. So I went, and even though I had a friend at this point in time, I still was feeling anxious like 24/7. It didn't really like go away. It just kind of helped me like feel distracted enough. So the crazy part of the story was that when I went to this church group with them, the second I walked in the room, everyone was singing worship music. I felt like a complete overwhelming feeling of just absolute peace. And like not only was it like what I had been needing for those like 3 months that I was at college, but it was also like what I hadn't felt in like years. And it was like super overwhelming. I had genuinely felt like I had never felt that before. And I just felt so loved. And that was something that was completely new to me. I didn't really know how to explain the way that I felt, but I knew that it was real. And I knew it was something that I needed. And so I listened to the sermon and left, and I still like didn't. As soon as I left, I felt anxious again, and like things went back to the way that they were. But then I decided to start paying attention in Christian worldview because I didn't feel like it was a coincidence, and I had to do this assignment where I had to present in front of the class a slideshow about proving Christianity. You had to try and prove Christianity, and then you had to try and prove a worldview of your choice. And my worldview, the worldview of my choice was atheism, because that's what I felt like it was. And I took this seriously because I also placed my worth in my academics. So, and I knew I had to present it, so I actually kind of had to know what I was talking about. And I realized so quickly into this assignment that atheism made no sense. I couldn't prove it, and I tried. I was somebody who was really trying, and I considered myself to be a very logical person. So I was looking for stats. I was looking for literally anything, like doctorates, writing stories, and really just trying to wrap it up, and I just couldn't. And then I switched over to trying to prove Christianity, and I was blown away because it was so easy to prove. Like history, there were facts, like so many historians that believed it, like written over thousands of years by tons of different people, and it all happened to align, like 90 whatever % accuracy. And it just was so evident to me, like somebody who grew up thinking so logically, and the logic was right in front of my face, and the feelings were also there, and that was the moment that I like genuinely knew, wow, like this is real. And so I started going to those Wednesday night groups and paying more attention. I started paying attention in class and grew a lot in my faith, and with my friend, she's still one of my best friends today. But yeah, I started serving at church since then, and yeah, I am so thankful for everything that's happened to me, and I think that my favorite part of the story was just how even when I didn't even know Christ and like didn't deserve it whatsoever, he was pursuing me the entire time. Like throughout high school, even though I wasn't making good decisions, I was living a worldly life, like just by making GCU my only option, and just placing me in sports, like knowing my path and knowing like what I needed is something that is just so crazy to me still. I'm so thankful for the way that Jesus pursues us even when we don't know him or deserve it. That's my story. Oh, and I got baptized like 2 weeks ago, so